Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to this week's Crypto Mastery class, and letting people in here. So let's see. Going to cover some news, going to cover some charts, and show you guys how to use these indicators. But probably I have an announcement to make. Probably going to not do these live anymore. Probably might do one or two a month, but I'm going to be instead moving this to YouTube and just doing these on YouTube and uploading those weekly. So. Just so you know, I think it's better use of time for everybody, but especially since there are 6 of you here. So yeah, low attendance rate, it's just no longer really best use of time, I think. So anyway, with that out of the way, I will let's kind of dive in. Any questions while you guys are here before we get started? And I'm using a new AI summary tool called Fathom, so we'll kind of share that with you guys. And yeah, all right, let's do some news. I've got to keep class short here to an hour. I have a call right after this at the top of the hour. So with that, let's see what's going on here. We have 2.5 million Bitcoin left on the exchanges. So according to this person, Zoltan, signals supply shock. We've been saying supply shock for a long time now. And, you know, I'll believe it when I see it. But it's saying here that Bitcoin exchange reserves dropped to a 3-year low, signaling potential supply shock. Institutional buying from ETF continues. Yeah, I'll pull up the IBIT here today. We haven't looked at that. I think we did look at it last week, but that has been giving us some clues on where prices may be going. Let's see. But this is nothing new. Exchange reserves fallen to their lowest levels. Been saying that for a while now. Kind of like the boy who cried wolf. Maybe this is the final time. Suggesting supply shock as institutional demand. So we already covered that, but you know, the institutional demand from ETFs, it's unclear where they're buying though. Are they buying from the exchanges or are they buying over the counter? I think a little bit of both. But regardless, with Michael Saylor, or now Strategy, which we can just now call him Saylor, keeps buying more Bitcoin, and he's doing it mostly over the counter. So it would be worth paying attention to this here. The exchange reserves continue to plummet. So you know, there are 2 people that we in M3 Trader have been following, and with cycle trading, and both kind of calling for, you know, weekly cycle low coming up here late February, early March. I do have some kind of troubling signs on Bitcoin I want to share with you guys. I think that's going to come down. We'll see, you know, CPI coming out this week, PPI coming out this week. I think it's going to probably signify and spook the market a little bit. They're probably looking for stronger signs of the economy, and these things tend to lag a bit, so I may not see that coming out until next month. At any rate, but that would all set us up for a big, huge rally. You know, if we're going to see, this is a time of year where Bitcoin can literally double in a short period of time. Although the charts, our signals are telling us that's not looking so good right now. So it's a little bit tricky. And but if we drop, it is actually coinciding. If we have a nice pullback into that weekly cycle low and then we push higher, then that would sort of make sense. Diminishing Bitcoin supply and exchanges may signal incoming price rally. Supply shock, I covered that. Let's see, what is this? Cointelegraph, this chart here. I'm not going to get into that. It's kind of visualizing what we just said. I want to get through the news pretty quick today because I've got a hard stop at the top of the hour. And look at this, guys. More states now joining.
Excuse me,
and
Brett. We can
I
see
forgot
you
to share my
it.
screen. Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Even though you told me, I forgot to do that. It's a lot of buttons to push, you guys. So, but that was mostly just monologue. Let me go in. Thanks for letting me know, Myri. And so basically, just to recap this. And from now on, again, we're not going to be doing the live classes that much more. And I think that we'll just do these on the YouTube and record them and upload those. So 2.5 Bitcoin, we covered this. Bitcoin exchange reserves dropped to a 3-year low, signifying potential supply shock as institutional buying from ETFs. We covered that. And then Bitcoin exchange reserves falling to lowest. So this is that visual of that falling to the lowest levels here. And so Kentucky, that's where we were, joining list. You know, all of these states now, we have like 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 states that have come out and saying they're going to introduce a Bitcoin reserve bill. And so all of this happens kind of slowly, and then it happens all at once. And so keep that in mind. You know, we're kind of waiting on the sidelines. What's going on? Why hasn't it happened yet? It does take some time for these things to play out. But then once it hits, going back to our path to 150,000, 200,000 Bitcoin, they all kind of ignite at the same time. So Bitcoin to 97K. This 100K is really giving us a lot of trouble. I'm going to pull it up and show where we have a lot of sell orders still there. So I do think we have some downside for Bitcoin before it goes higher and potentially doubles next month. I don't know about doubles. I'm looking for that 140, 150K and then a pullback. And then later in the year, maybe we get up to 200K. So we'll see. So, but the global trade war fears are still there. We covered that a couple weeks ago, how these tariffs are going to, it is also true that the other countries raising tariffs on our goods could cause some increased prices on some things as well. So I don't know. I don't know. Nobody really knows how that's going to play out and affect the economy in the near term or spook the markets. Like if the trends start going the wrong direction, we're only looking for a catalyst to have a big correction going into the summer. And that's, I'm remembering vividly the 2021 bull run where we had that rip-roaring rally early part of the year. And then April, May started rolling over and into the summer, we saw that big pullback and a flash crash. I was pretty fast that happened. So we want to be prepared for that. The next phase is what we want to keep our eyes on for now. And we'll pull up the trade success checklist and take a look at some clues. But Bitcoin so far resilient above 95K on strong institutional interest. So we'll see if that plays out. And yeah, so talking about seller exhaustion is real too, because where we have buyer exhaustion at the upper levels of the price and kind of like a good old-fashioned Chinese weather balloon when it lingers up in the sky, floating across the United States for days and days, highly likely to get shot down out of the air. And so similarly, when price is down, then that's when the sellers run out of steam. Then it's the buyer's turn to come in, and we know that everything runs in cycles. So the phenomenon of seller exhaustion might further indicate markets transitioning to selling to buying. I don't think we're there yet. We'll look at that in a minute. And factors like global economic conditions contributing to that, as well as stagnating spot Bitcoin ETFs. And let's see, stagnating, so continue to pressure the trajectory. Let's see. So we had some out days in the last week or so, and the inflows have largely slowed down a bit. And so yesterday we had some outflows. 2 days ago we have some outflows. Net we had yesterday was inflows. So, it's certainly the massive inflows have kind of slowed, but still, pretty much even at least. And this is this liquidation map we looked at last week. And I can pull it up if we want to, but there's not much to show. Liquidations have slowed down. I mean, the last couple sessions have seen some massive liquidations, as we know. But the sellers and the market makers, were sort of reaching an equilibrium, it would seem. However, potential correction below 95K still would liquidate over 1.52 billion of cumulative leverage longs. I said, not to repeat myself, but I did say months ago, 4, 5, 6 months ago, the battle for 100K would be really epic because the market makers, this is where they make their money, you guys. And they really do that from liquidating a lot of these high leverage traders, because when the market's moving high in the bull, they have to take the other side of that trade. And sure, they're making money on the transactions, but they're also taking the other side of the trade off, and then you get these high leverage Bitcoin traders that make out like bandits, like CryptoFace and, and guys like that really, really know what they're doing. So the market makers are kind of losing in that regard. So they're basically right now they're getting fat for the winter, like a bear would do, when there's not as much food around. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't know. Anyway, despite short-term correction concerns below 90K, trajectory optimistic. Our signals are rolling over, you guys, not to spoil the fun, but when I pull this up on the weekly time frame, our TSI is rolling over, and it looks to me like we're heading lower on Bitcoin. I'm not sure if that, maybe we see a mini altcoin rally, but to me, Bitcoin not looking very bullish. And let's see, this saying Bitcoin above 150K, speculative fever. Yeah, I don't know. I think that would be a ceiling. If it hits 150K, we're going to see a reasonable pullback, these big round numbers. Just seeing this, by the way, this is why I guess Litecoin's been pumping last few days. ETF 90% chance to get SEC approval. That's worth watching because, I'm heavily into Solana for that same reason. I think it's a great project, but if they get an ETF, the buildup towards that is where the prices are really going to run. Similarly, Litecoin could see a similar kind of run up here. So let's jump over to that. And let's see, I don't see any questions. So, all right, Litecoin ETF, 90% chance, according to someone I've never heard of, as usual. Let's see, Bitcoin ETF analysts say, unnamed, say Litecoin regulatory filings have acknowledged SEC likely views it. So, I mean, the thing is, Litecoin is a branch off of Bitcoin, because if Bitcoin's a commodity, then Litecoin's a commodity. So this is no surprise here, because they are basically the same in terms of structure for the most part. And let's see, just skimming some news over on the right side. Bloomberg ETF analysts have top 90% chance that we already covered that approved spot Litecoin before the end of the year. That's a pretty wide window, though. Question is when. All right, these guys. All right, so they're both good. James Seifert and Eric Balkunas, pretty solid. See the chances. So higher than other ETFs, and including XRP. And like I said, because it's a commodity, it's built the same way Bitcoin is. However, Solana, I still think has a good chance. Dogecoin, geez, why would anyone create a Dogecoin ETF? It makes no sense to me, other than the ETF owners would make a lot of money, as if it's not easy enough to buy Dogecoin already. I don't understand this. But anyway, here, Litecoin, yes, which was created as a faster version of Bitcoin, alternative Bitcoin in 2021, shares similar proof of work consensus mechanism. Like I said, built the same. Okay, proof of work. All right, so that's one to put back on our radar. You know, somebody talked about and asked about Litecoin last week, and I said I don't like the charts. It didn't look good, and then 2 days later it started picking up. So maybe whoever asked that question had some psychic ability or some other information that we weren't aware of. So Litecoin's path toward the SEC approval may be the most significant, straightforward, as S1 and 19.4B forms already been filled out, precursors for getting an ETF. So, you need that in place. That is a signal that it's at least, you can't get the ETF without applying, so it's good news they've been filed and acknowledged. And also, SEC likely views as a commodity, like we said. So here we go. Litecoin, I've seen this form before. And so this was an early signal before Bitcoin's ETF got approved. So we have Litecoin, Solana, XRP, Dogecoin, HBAR. That's interesting. That's interesting in Polkadot too. Both are ones to watch out for. Polkadot's got some really interesting things coming out, and I was talking to Vadim Voss, our DeFi expert. He's very much into Polkadot and the Stella Swap and Moonbeam and all this cool stuff that they have coming out. And the transaction speed is really exciting. HBAR also has high potential because it's US based, so that's Hedera. So these are ones to revisit, kind of make a mental picture, and we'll pull those up on the charts. All right, strong demand in the previous ETFs. Ether's ETF wasn't that strong, but recently has seen more inflows, so that's good. ETFs here, 43 billion inflows since in January, all the way back. Farsight investors already covered that. Let's see. But here's the thing. But I doesn't think Litecoin would attract much demand. Also true. Why would it? Because faster transactions on Bitcoin is sort of a moot point. The Bitcoin has Lightning Network now, and I don't know that that's really going to generate a lot of interest here, but we might get a little bit of a pop. Let's see. They don't have to hit it out of the park, however. That's fine. Stay calm. Trump happens. Staying expecting more ETF on. That's enough of that. Okay. All right. New Bitcoin miner capitulation hits at sub 100K. Yeah. The big. Oops, that's the wrong button there. The miners the hash rate's way up. So I mean that's generally a good sign. I don't see Bitcoin capitulation though. Let's see. Major long-term Bitcoin price rebound. Yeah. Sub. Oh, is the bottom. I missed the bottom. Miner capitulation. Yeah, we saw a bunch of miners selling out recently. And look, I think 84K is still on the table, you guys. But Bitcoin classic local bottom signs. We should look at the hash ribbon indicator and see, because usually it turns blue after the miners capitulate. So that could be another clue. And let's see, Bitcoin miner spotlight. I think we're going down the rabbit hole here. How are we doing on time? Hash ribbon indicates the worst of the minor capitulations over. When the 30-day MA, we have a nice indicator that just shows a blue dot, so that's all we need to do. And the last capitulation phase occurred mid-October. What happened right after that? October was a huge kind of bull rally that came out of that, both in 2023 and in 2024. So, and this says so that triggered Bitcoin pushing up from 73.8 to 108 2 months later. Okay, so it does seem like the winds of change are behind us, but we still have some headwinds. Yeah, a lot can happen before the next Bitcoin buy signal. So we have Capriel Investments, they're reputable, most sell-side risks, and ACE3AC collapse. Wait a minute, what? Different article. Three Arrows Capital was, of course, a huge fund that collapsed. I'm going to open that up. We do want to be aware of anything that could blindside us. Bitcoin miners, once again, growing their stack. I think we've covered that and covered that. Okay. Let's take a look at this. Sell-side risk since Three Arrows Capital collapse. 5 things to know in Bitcoin this week. The tariff sell-offs, more price action clings. It's okay. Let's see. I'm going to skim this, you guys, so we can get to the good stuff. CPI here again this week. Lots going to happen this week with these economic numbers, you guys. So we'll have to see and play it kind of safe. And let's see. Very thin order books. So low volume, and thin is not a lot of buyers and sellers on each side. The breadth is low, so that means it's set to could go either way fairly easily with any high movement, high volume coming in. And let's see, slow moves for see some more volatility due to Wednesday's ZPI, and then see the real move the week after that event. So it's looking more like next week we will see more of the markets tipping their hand, but there's as with often there are kind of conflicting signals on the charts. So I then want to go over to the charts as soon as possible. Let's see, Kabotsi letter, worrisome phenomenon playing out. So let's see, Kabotsi letter is good. Eyeing developments at the Fed, however, trading resource Kabotsi letter noticed a worrisome phenomenon playing out. The U.S. reverse repo facility has dropped to its lowest level since 2021. True, a sign that restrictive financial policy in the form of so-called quantitative tightening may not last much longer. But we were watching Camel Finance today. He's got some good input on that, and one of the people he quoted in terms of the it's not over. Quantitative tightening isn't over until I'd screenshotted it on my iPad. It is it's an indicator I'm going to start monitoring, but this thing hasn't spiked yet, so QT isn't quite over yet, essentially. So always sharpening the saw, you guys. Sign that restrictive financial policy in the form of QT may not last much longer. Yeah, I think that's true. This all plays into kind of a March being a bigger month higher. And I know, by the way, I originally was like, hey, I think January is going to be a big up month, and February, and then we pull back in March. But we had a bit of a curveball there with all the tariffs and the tariff trade war, et cetera. So timing these things is very difficult unless we're at the extremes, and we've been bleeding out for a long time. The lows I was able to call, the highs I was able to call. It's this midpoint, really tricky, timing that midpoint move, because you have that tug of war at a standstill. Neither side is tired, right? So at the market top, the bulls are tired. At the bottom, the bears are tired from dragging it all the way down. So, and come with a big liquidity shock. So we have to be very aware right now. And this is the reverse repo down here. So, there's definitely some bullish signals that we want to be ready for this thing to move higher in the fairly near term. The question is, everyone's reading the same information, and do we have another drop coming before we start ripping higher? Let's take a look. This is the last article here, and thanks to Myrene for finding these. So I keep hitting the wrong button here. I need this yellow highlighter, not this one. And Bitcoin top altcoins ripping attention from meme coins. Yeah, let's hope the meme coin flow finally comes back to the crypto market. These degenerate meme coins and meme coin traders, all this money's flowing in. It's essentially gambling, but it's hurting the altcoins. By the way, in case you haven't heard me talk about it, and others talk about it, the broad-based altcoin season very unlikely to happen this year. because we've gone from something like 300 altcoins in the first cycle to like 3,000 in the second, and it's like 30,000 in the last cycle. Now there's like 3 million altcoins. It's some crazy number because they're just spinning and spitting them out, and that includes meme coins. There's not enough money to go around, you guys. So please don't be buying this some random degenerate altcoin or meme coin. Very likely, even if they pump, they're not. Very few will succeed. And by succeed, I mean go up long enough for you to take profits before going to zero or 90% down. So let's see. This is interesting. Crypto could be headed into a healthier market cycle. Okay, not versus last time, but anyway, as meme coins wane, attention shifts back to Bitcoin. So therefore, Bitcoin dominance would go higher. Ether, other layer ones. So seeing some rotation there. I did see really a positive article and video on Chainlink and ICP, but mostly go look at that video I put in the M3 chat today about Chainlink, because I was starting to say, Chainlink's kind of boring, not hearing anything new and exciting about it. And, other people like Polkadot are going to be EVM compatible, which is basically what Chainlink does, lets other blockchains connect to each other, and EVM means Ethereum Virtual Machine compatible, so that Ethereum layer 2s could ostensibly run on other blockchains. So that's where we're headed, where all of this is going to be behind the scenes and they just all talk to each other. Right now it's kind of everyone for themselves. So anyway, I would point of that is I would kind of stick to the top tier layer ones. Cardano technically is one. It's a slow moving battleship, but we want to keep an eye on Link and Cardano, and I guess Litecoin now, then ETH, Sol, and Bitcoin. So a shift in focus away could signify a more stable, sustainable market environment, which would be great because Bitcoin and Layer 1 networks represent the foundational infrastructure of the crypto space. By the way, if you guys didn't get the email, emails are just getting so hard to get delivered. If you're in Moonstream, tonight is the AMA Mike's sort of one-on-one to go show up, and so make sure you not miss that. Mike's great, and if you're not in the Moonstream newsletter, definitely want to be in that. He's had some really interesting coin picks the last few months. So let us know if you'd like to get back in that. So increased focus on these assets, usually like more mature approach. Okay, so layer 1 blockchains support smart contracts. That's I don't really like Cardano that much, but because they're now talking about the ability of creating smart contracts on Bitcoin, some kind of a partnership there, that could certainly be a good piggyback and show some good use case and utility for Cardano that would actually get people behind it. Because let's face it, nobody's really that excited about Cardano anymore. Anyway, so decentralized applications, network scalability, key drivers of long-term growth. What is this chart here? Traders have strongly turned their attention back to Bitcoin, while meme coin discussions have dried up. Okay, good. Except Redcoin is way down. Not good. I don't really care about any of the other ones. So, but they will come back. Look, this is what happens after the money flows out of Bitcoin. Once Bitcoin dominance peaks up around 70, starts coming down, we have the layer ones run, then we have altcoins run, and then we have the money flow into meme coins. So we'll probably see that toward the end of the year. Let's see. That's all I want to get into. Let me just skim here. Let's see. Millions worth of Bitcoin and Ether on the move. Let's see. A bunch of Ether exchanged. Most significant movement of known exchange wallets, but those are but that just doesn't mean it's going to sell. When coins come off of cold storage onto an exchange, that's usually to be sold. But if they're in between exchanges, not a big deal. Although I did hear a big amount of, this is probably what's talking about down here, there's a big chunk of Bitcoin that moved that hasn't moved since around 2010, right around when Silk Road went down. And so Ross Ulbricht, now that he's free, suddenly massive amounts of Bitcoin have just been moved. Again, not onto exchanges for threat of selling, but just moved somewhere else. And I don't know, you guys, would you sit in prison for 10 years if you got out and had a couple $100 million? I don't know. That's not a fun trade-off. Most sell-side risk. I want to know why that sell-side risk. We did cover that, but why? Crypto Dan, Quick Tail Market, Bitcoin inactive. Yeah, here. So Crypto Dan said recent Quicktail market update 14,000 Bitcoin that had been inactive for the last 7 to 10 years moved 14,000 Bitcoin, you guys. Someone do the math on that. I mean, if 100,000, add 5 zeros on that. That's 140 million, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Now it should be more than that. Is that 1.4 billion? Somebody do the math on that. I'm like pulling in my calculator right now and doing any mathematician work there. Sell sign risk. I'm going to open that up. These coins have not been transferred in exchanges, so that's what I was saying. Suggesting that are not immediately for sale, said Crypto Dan, and so that's good. So it would not be good if 14,000 bitcoins suddenly moved to, say, Coinbase or Kraken. Then we'd be worried that we'd see sell side pressure, and we saw that with Germany, and we saw that with Mt. Gox. Now, I do believe we have to double check that. Have the Mt. Gox coins all been sold? I think that should have been completed by last October. We don't know. All right, what were we looking at here? Is this the Three Arrows Capital story? No, let's jump over to that and then get into some charts. So I want to know, why is there sell side risk? And I remember that picture. So we did kind of cover this, thin order books, but then what does that have to do with Three Arrows Capital? This is kind of misleading headline. And let me just cover this. I think we'll see strong momentum with multiple daily greens ending up erasing the entire liquidation of previous weeks on altcoins. If ETH and Bitcoin go up, more likely case the bull has started. Who is this? This is some random quote. So let's just show me the charts, because I'm not convinced. But yeah, we've got Powell this week. We've got CPI. We have PPI. Testimony. What's the testimony for? That company unemployment claims. Yeah, we have a lot going on this week. Short-term volatility catalyst. Okay, Fed Chair Powell to testify before the Senate Banking Committee and House Financial Services. Oh, geez, what could possibly go wrong there? Mixed inflation signals. So, and this is something that I was watching this morning. Trueflation has come down, but typically the Fed reports late, so they might still report it as high, and then next month we see that cooler print. But that could certainly spook the markets, and we want to know, are there going to be any more interest rate cuts? Because that would certainly signify or trigger the markets, for risk on assets. Appetite should come back. And let's see, but the Fed Watch tool showing a minuscule percent that they will cut the next Fed meeting, and a 93% chance they will leave it alone. So, we've already highlighted this. All right, guys, so that's all we have time for there. Let's hop over to the charts, and let me pull these up. And by the way, if you're watching this or the replay, make sure to check out our M3 Active Trader class. If you like these kind of live classes and would like to look over my shoulder in tomorrow's class, our Wednesday classes, where we actually look at coin picks and we go a little deeper dive into the macro side, total market cap, look at the DXY and other factors and studies like my USDT dominance study, but most importantly, you get access to me in a chat room and a bunch of other really smart traders, members area with some valuable resources, and you can come ask questions, some cheat sheets, your high probability candlestick patterns in the members area, some other interactive worksheets like the portfolio tracker, DCA investing worksheet. That's great. This I use with my private clients, and the high probability trading patterns. You can get access to that. We've just lowered the price, everyone. It was $2.99 a month. It is now $2.49 a month. And does not include the indicators, though. That's a change. We're kind of simplifying that. Those are sold separately, and you can find those over at cryptomastery.org. If you're just landing here, not familiar with this, you can find all of our services at moonstream.io. Clicking on our monthly newsletter, we have a monthly newsletter which is excellent for beginners, monthly coin pick, and a once a month Ask Us Anything, which is tonight, which is going to be great. Crypto Mastery, these are the trading signals that you guys need to have. I know everyone says that. Mark my words, these are going to help you. You need these so you don't make mistakes and you get into trades earlier on the reversals. We're going to look at some signals here today. Go watch this video, you guys, cryptomastery.org. And these are our Pro Suite signals. So it's a good segue into, we'll go to the charts and I'll show you what I'm seeing. And just to dive in, the on the ERI Pro, I want to pull up the weekly chart here and then show you what I'm seeing because, and then that radar. So if we go to a weekly chart, it's not looking very good. Actually, what is it? This is my monthly Bitcoin study, so we want to leave that alone. Well, while we're here, we'll get to the TSI in a minute. On the monthly Bitcoin study, we are watching this. This is not very good, guys. We rejected right here. This is on this RSI. We've seen this reject a few times. This more than likely comes down to this 64 level, and this is would be where I'm going to say 64.50. I want to be alerted because this is kind of tying into the that pullback into the weekly cycle low coming up. So let's just call this is too much information there. I want to say RSI BTC 1 month and by question mark. Okay, so what are we doing there? If the RSI can come back down, since it's rejected up here at this trend line resistance up top, more than likely to come down in this range. All right, so what else do we have? We have our stochastics RSI also rejecting up here on the monthly time frame. Prices can still kind of go up a little bit after this because we saw this finally start to dump back in April of 2021 and that early top, but the signs were there. So we do have some signs this market is weakening. If we go to a 2-month chart, we can see, this thing can spend half a year up here, but this wasn't a nice downtrend there on the monthly. It is on the 2-month. It's still going higher, but seeing some signs of of trouble up ahead. MACD getting a bit extended, so we want to be careful about this and really keep an eye on all these things. All right, that's the monthly chart. I'll put this away there. And of course, us getting our early reversal indicator all the way back here in January of 2023, which was an amazing indication to get back in the markets because, of course, we've gone up 366% as of today, 317% on Bitcoin. If for no other reason, to get our lifetime signals on the early reversal indicator, right, which is our flagship on Crypto Mastery, it called, let me get back to it, this green arrow is only triggered 4 times in Bitcoin's history. Once right here, bear market bottom. Once right here, missed it by a month, but bear market bottom, and you guessed it, bear market bottom back here. So on that monthly time frame, and it did also trigger back in the 2012 region. Only 4 times. So would it be useful to have that in your arsenal in the next bear market to know when the bear market's over and when it's time to get in? Also, we're going to show you how our signal, the same signal, got us out of the last market cycle top and on the weekly time frame. All right, this is just because I have it loaded on my other computer. We'll touch on that briefly. I think I want to get over to what I wanted to share with you. We've covered this. This is something to cover more in M3, another market topping study. So kind of suggesting timing wise into October of 2025 to kind of top out around 200,000 or so. What happens in between, anyone's guess. We don't know what's going to go on there, but this is kind of around when I think we will top out in the markets. So anyway, we'll leave that alone for this class. Maybe touch on it tomorrow, but this is the path to 150K. Seeing a bit of a pullback, not unexpected, but where do we go from here? We need to break through. Once we break through 112, I think it's a quick run up to around 140, maybe 500. No, sorry, 150, not 500. Wishful thinking. So we have covered that ad nauseum. You can kind of see that study over on TradingView if you'd like to go back to it. All right, so what I want to do, this is the monthly study. I'm going to go to my daily charts. And bear with me, nice little pump on helium, by the way. I put a buy alert out to the private members a couple days ago to buy down in this green box. Nice little pop on helium. Not here to talk about that today. We'll go back to that. Actually, our TSI is going green with a green bullish divergence on our trend, on our RSI Pro rather. All right, I did promise you guys I'd show you the bearish signs. Let's look at both. Bitcoin being the leader, the North Star here. So, we did kind of find support down this region right around 94K. While these red blocks are sell blocks. That's where the sellers are lining up. And so we've, this is where I was getting out of the market. I sold my last Bitcoin at 160K, portion of it. And because I was stopped out down here with this a lot of volatility. So this to me says that we're still headed lower. We've got a lot of sell pressure overhead, and this area around 91K, very likely zone to come down to and then push off. So this economic data here this week could just be a catalyst for the markets to sell off. It's to never say, oh, it's CPI, PPI, but really it wants to come down here into this end of February zone and the weekly cycle low area timing wise. So on a weekly time frame, however, let's take a look at, let's take a look at our TSI, and because I was watching this earlier in the day, and excuse me, I have to keep an eye on the time here. I've got about 20 minutes. All right, on this, so we have a bearish TSI crossing below 20. You guys use these tools. They are very impactful, and this is a sell signal for us. So Bitcoin crossing below 80 on the weekly time frame with the trend strength indicator, we see what happens. Now, the reason we wait to go below 80 is this thing can zigzag around a little bit. But the key differentiator is we get below 80, that tends to drift down. And this is a weekly indicator. So this is a little bit concerning. This could signify either a pretty rapid drop over the next few weeks and then a rebound, because we are also bearish on the signal line. And I'm also going to call attention to, because look what happened over here. This is not to be ignored, you guys. If you've got holding Bitcoin, you may want to consider taking some off the table to buy back lower. This bearish divergence here is also pretty accurate. So let's go back in time. See, the last time that we had a bearish divergence signal on the weekly time frame was all the way back here, you guys, around 30,000, but it was foretold another pullback. And also bearish divergence back here at the market cycle top, since we're on the subject. And if you're new here, another reason you need to have those indicators. By the way, we have a new monthly option on the Crypto Mastery signals. Just go here, check it out. There's a yearly, a lifetime, and if anyone would like it, I will drop a special code here today where you get a free trial and then a rebills at 20% off. How about that? So this is taking a while to load there. But at any rate, you can go check that out at, let me know if you want the special link. This is at cryptomastery.org, annual, lifetime, monthly. And if you want 20% off of this and a free trial, let me know and I'll drop the link, but you have to ask for it. Okay. Either way, though, you have to have these indicators. Here's what it saved us from over on the weekly time frame, right back here. This pattern there, we had our early reversal indicator, the same one that showed us the market bottoming in the monthly I just showed you. But look at that right there, the red arrow with the bearish engulfing candle, with the TSI below 80, with the signal line red, and we had just at the same time as the ERI, we had bearish divergence. If we see those line up again, it's time to get out of the market. No questions asked, no emotion, we're out. Okay? We also, you can see on the weekly time frame, same thing happened, similar thing happened. We had bearish engulfing candle, TSI was their trend strength indicator, went red below 80. Okay? And we had the signal line go red. So any three of these are time to get out of the markets. And so that would have saved you from this drop back in that April timeframe. And I bet you, let me just double check here, because the only thing, we did have the bearish early reversal indicator, a red arrow back in here, but that's why we want to look for confluence, any two or three of them, and it's time to get out on the weekly time frame. Which we also saw here, and I told you guys, and you guys, some of you got out and saved some. So we want to be careful of that. We had a little one here, and we'll be watching that carefully. So with that, that's my read on Bitcoin. Do you guys want me to look at anything? And where did my chat go? Let me see. I've got some chats here. Okay, gotcha. All right, Cathal and Tanya, sure. So this is only for limited time. Crypto Mastery, trying to use my mouth and my brain at the same time, doesn't always work so well. Cryptomastery.org at free trial. Trust me, if you're new here, this is the backbone of everything we do here. And I've been trading for 25 years. These are the best I've ever used. They are learnable. They are simple yet powerful. And it's made all the difference in my own trading and our M3 members, because it's like the Wizard of Oz. It's, you realize it's not magic when you peek behind the curtain. There are formulas and readable clues on how these markets work. And a big one are these. Looks like Bitcoin's selling off today as we speak. These sell block orders. These are visualizations of the orders, the sell orders on Binance, and they're generally the same across the other exchanges. So that's why I was getting out of Bitcoin back here at 106, big sell block. We'll be buying it. I buy Bitcoin at 91K and 86K. If it goes down lower, I think 91K, 90K in this region would be an ideal trade. Come back down and we would wait for bullish signals to come back. So we did get a bullish ERI yesterday. Okay, this is a good example. Let's use our trade success checklist. All right, so if you go to moonstream.io and go to free checklist, so I'll put that in here as well. This is your cheat sheet, how to use these indicators even if you've never traded before. This makes it easy. So you can go download this, and then it's just pattern recognition. So I'll just click on the download. You do want to use the downloaded version because that makes it interactive. We had that specially coded through our Rockstar designers that I've been using for 20 years. And then open this up as a PDF, because then you can check by. Look at that. How cool is that? Have you ever seen a PDF that was interactive before? Probably not. I created these in my previous business. It's doable. Yep. So anyway, here's how you take trades. You're looking for at least three green checks or check marks or a trade success score of 3 to start entering the trade. And then I can add to that as you get more check marks. So what do I mean by a check mark? Some of you have seen this, but repetition is the mother of all learning. So we want to first look for, is there an early reversal indicator? Hence the name. This signifies, before anything else, possible reversal coming. However, it's not enough. Let's just do it anyway, though. So let's say as of a few days ago, did we have an ERI? Yes, we did. And this indicates bullish reversal where buyers are in control. Now, if any of you are the cerebral type and you want to question everything, and are saying, hey, that's cute, you have an arrow. This is the visualized version of the actual oscillator, which has some advanced quant work and a Keltner channel built in, and is based on a movement within a specific time period and wasn't an accidental discovery. But essentially, this move coming off of 0 back above 20 within 3 time periods tells me this is programmatic buying, and we could see it back here. And similarly, when we see the red lines, that's programmatic institutional selling, indicating more of a move is coming. So that's what that is, and that's why it's simple yet powerful. So we have that. We have not had the TSI. Usually, I'm looking for the TSI to confirm by going green and above 20. Has to be above 20. So and it says use with the TSI, the trend strength indicator, for confirmation. And now you won't see these anywhere else because we developed them, and my partner, who's the trader and a programmer, a quant engineer, former hedge fund trader, and all-around great guy, Joe, who is a mad scientist in the best possible way at creating these indicators, but programmer and trader. Very rare. Most times traders hire a programmer to create an indicator, and it's never as good as if you have a real trader creating these, because he'll tinker and play with it until it's just right. So the TSI, you want to see this coming out of the green zone above the 20 line, indicating a new bullish cycle where buyers are in control. Do we have that? We don't have that yet, so we want to watch. That's sort of an invalidation. However, it is gone green, so this is where we'll go in and you can set alerts on these. So I'll say add alert. You guys should be setting your alerts on these. So basically, I want to say crossing up over 20. And in this case, I'm going to say once per bar close, because I want to know every time Bitcoin crosses up above this level. Crossing up signifies it would have to be below it to start with. And so I'm just going to say I don't need this information. And I'm going to say TSI crossing up 20 on Bitcoin and that would be a buy signal. So we'll put that away for now. All right, but we do have an RSI Pro. Now this is new this year. So we added this to the Pro Suite last year. And this is what I love about these indicators is visually how aesthetic they are. And if you're wondering what the hell's going on here, these are not sort of alien trackers and tracking the latest drones around New Jersey. These red circles signify bearish divergence, and typically price will follow, and the green ones signify bullish divergence. So this signifying that pretty soon we can start to turn higher. The relative strength index, this middle line, is another barometer. Is it above 50 or not? So right now it is headed lower below 50, but this is signifying that it's probably going to turn higher. I won't go into what divergences are. Typically it's prices moved up, but this is going down, or in the case of hidden divergence, the RSI turns up before price does, but generally they will sync up. So we do have this. So we check that off. Is the RSI Pro showing a green circle? So it's still sort of bullish. It's bullish-ish, but we need more than that, okay? And if you don't have at least 3, you should not be taking the trade. This is one of those rare times the TSI or the ERI is, well, the ERI and TSI, when these align, it's almost always that goes up. All right, back here, ERI, TSI went green, shot up. The more you look at this, the more you're like, oh my God, I have to pay attention to this. ERI green arrow, TSI above 20, shot up. This one was a little bit of a fake out down here, but still got a nice pump. And similarly on the bearish side, you see those all over and over again. So more than likely, this is putting in another low. I think, look at this bearish engulfing candle. Bitcoin most likely bleeds down, gets down to this 92K region, and then we get another bullish ERI and TSI, and then it's a rip-roaring rally. But the sellers are in control here. Clearly, what's going on? We're down over 1,000. And no surprise, look at this downtrending trend line overhead. So similarly, let me go back to the checklist, because let's say you were bullish at that point, and now you're like, well, I don't really see it, and I don't see these other setups, bullish engulfing candles, no. Is it above the 21 and 50 period exponential moving averages? It is not. I can tell just by looking at this. So usually I'll have these on. So we have some bearish conflicting patterns here. We don't have any buy blocks for money flow. We don't have any of these other signals. And so we have to kind of keep scrolling down and say, well, what do we have? In this case, we do have sell blocks, and not like the prison cell blocks, but sellers. These blocks are where the order, it's called the order block detector. So you can see sellers are in control here. This represents a confluence and consistency. There's another word that starts with C that I'm looking for, but where it's a concentration of sellers, and the midpoint of this is the strongest. So you saw right in here, it stopped this little rally and dead in its tracks. And then right down here, where you just see every time price pushes up into here, these are all sellers saying, oh, selling their Bitcoin. So if you have more sellers than buyers, what happens? Okay, we have trend line resistance coming down. So this is easy, guys. I mean, look, this is going to come lower. Maybe it comes down here end of the day and the buyers push it up. But until this big red block goes away, there's really not much to get excited about. And even if we're to break through that, we have a bigger one up here that's been here for a while now. So these markets still have some strong headwinds. Down here where the buyers are, where would you like to be? Where the buyers are. So if you set your buy limit orders down inside this box at 92K, down to 91K, put your limit buy orders, probably get filled before it goes higher. I'm supposed to say not financial advice, but it's me one-to-many. I'm not giving any of you individual financial advice. This is for educational purposes only, and you have to know your risk tolerance. But this is my read, especially with these topping tails under the 50-day exponential moving average. So what we need to do is go over here to this thing and say, well, this is kind of bearish though. Is there overhead resistance? And now what we'll see is my trade success score has gone down. And now we have this. Is price inside or just below a red order block zone showing existing limit sell orders? And that's what we just talked about. Okay, so now, well, guess what? If we check that, what do you think happens to our trade success score? You guessed it, down to 0. So while we got a little bit excited initially, we were able to invalidate that trade, therefore saving ourselves a lot of money because you don't want to go in and get excited and go buying these and longing these things if you only have like 2 bullish signals, and especially if you have bearish signals that would conflict and remove the score. So everyone got that? Tell you what, I have time for maybe one more. If you want me to pull up a coin and we can do a rating on that. I'll just skim through here. Not a whole lot going on in the markets. Yesterday's green day is sort of seeing some profit taking. But Solana, thank you, Dr. T. I was going to say, first one gets it. Good choice. So Solana is another favorite, one of my favorites here. So first thing right off the bat, I like simple trading. Signals. I don't like to use lots of fancy Elliott waves or, pitchforks or Fibonacci circles. You don't need them. In here, you can see my DCA buy zone. And this is what I was going to say is in this trending channel, this upward trending parallel channel, it's a lot of lots of consonants there, but lots of P's, but you can see I do love trend channels. Okay, so what we had the other day as a bullish ERI, bouncing off the bottom of a trend channel. This will be a fun one. All right, so we had an ERI. We're going to pretend this was a couple days ago. All right, so we had a bullish ERI, bullish. All right, what else do we see? It's in a buy block, right? So I'm going to kind of scroll down here. We'll save that for later. The first 4 things to look at are the ERI. Okay, we have an ERI. Do we have anything else? We've got the RSI. Cool. Do we have a TSI? Almost. And you can see I have an alert there. But do we take that trade on 2? We do not. So we have the RSI Pro. However, are there any other signals that could be lining up for this? And let's take a look. Well, it's in this buy block here. And let's go find that. Is it also inside of a parallel trending channel or at trend line support? That's kind of the same thing, right? And so we have that. So it's a trend line support right through there. And then I'm going to scroll down here to find the buy limit orders. So we also have this. So it is looking better. I was concerned that we started losing the trend channel here. And if we go to a weekly, you can kind of see that a little bit better. But Solana has been a great tradable coin. I mean, sorry, old habits die hard. And all through here, you guys, many of you know this, I nearly doubled, technically nearly doubled, but in principle doubled my IRA just buying Sol in these buy blocks all through here. Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, and then again, caught some right down in here with limit buy order. So where would I sell it? I'll hold Sol and probably sell some up here where it says respect sell blocks. And I think it's important to kind of have a mentality. This is going to be a swing traders market for a while, and then we'll have a big blow off top. And but for God's sakes, take profits along the way. Nothing worse than, because we saw this recently. This Solana pumped up to 300 briefly. And I took profits at 245. That's before the Trump meme coin pumped it higher. And I was a little bit frustrated. I'm like, I know better. I should have held a moon bag. But now it's come down to under 200. So I'm like, all right, look, so take the profits when you have them. Take a half, take 2/3, take 80%, take it in stages on the way up. But we can see that the next move for Solana probably kind of rolls up. If it comes back down in this 187 range, all the way down in here to 170, this is the buy zone. Just Solana, buy as much as I would be buying as much as I can if I were you in these zones, because this is where the buyers are lined up. All right, so now what else? Is there anything else we could look at on the trade success checklist? What is moonbag amounts? Okay, Doctor, we'll explain that. So basically, we are This also qualifies is price above long-term support trend line or breaking above a resistance line. So, the parallel channels, I should probably relabel this, call it parallel channels because we do use these quite a bit, but it's holding at the lower edge of the trend channel. Okay, so I'll answer that question. Then I got to go, you guys. What is a moon bag? Yeah, a moon bag is where you hold on to maybe 10% of your original position. You've sold, a good way to do this along the way is take out your initial investment. Okay, so that no matter what, you never lose principal and on the way up. And you do that in stages. So right here, it's some resistance, sell maybe 20%, 20% here, another 20, 30% in the sell blocks, and then all the way up at the top of the trend channel. But a moon bag is holding like 10% and just hold on to that for the rest of the cycle or forever. The bear markets have been brutal, so I kind of hesitate to say hold 10% through a bear market. But, the point is, if you sell too early, some of these will have that huge parabolic run and you never know where they're going to go. So like Phantom Coin in 2021, we recommended that in Phantom Coin in 2020, we recommended that in January of 2021. And it had a great run, had no idea it was going to go up 185x. And so people who sold out too early missed that, and it would be foolish to have held the whole position the whole way up, right? But and I've made this mistake recently. I sold all my Solana right in here because I thought I was right. This resistance area, it would pull back, and I should have held some back because it popped all the way up to 300. Never thought that would happen. So in retrospect, in hindsight, we're always learning and kind of fighting our conscious mind and sort of with what we know to be true. So that's a moon bag. Yeah, Dr. T, sure thing. You could always kind of keep a moon or a bust bag, whatever you want to call it. Either goes to bazillion or zero. But, don't hold, if you're in big profits, so it's a good idea to take profits on the way up, like I said, because for everyone that might moon and you're like, wow, I would have been a millionaire, 99 of them won't. They'll pull back and then you'll turn your profits into a loss. All right, you guys, I got to go. I'm out of time. Thanks, everybody. Just if you got here late, I don't think I'm going to be doing these live every week anymore. I'm probably just going to record them and put them up on YouTube. Maybe we'll do every other week and see how it goes. But I think that might be better use of time. I do see some new names in here, so thanks for coming by. Definitely go by and check out cryptomastery.org. And I dropped a free trial link for that in the chat here. It's cryptomastery.org/free trial. Get these indicators. You're going to need them. And I just showed you all the reasons why. And you get the free trade success checklist, which was over here. And nobody else has this. This is kind of a cheat sheet for trading. And then M3 members, we'll see you tomorrow. Okay, everyone, take care. Talk to you soon.